There's just so much to say about this Snapcycle Eagle. I'm going to try to keep this as short as possible or talk as fast as possible. But first of all, I just want to say thank you to Snapcycle for sending me out the Snapcycle Eagle that you're going to see in this video. It's a 20-inch fat tire bike that actually gets up to 1,000 watts of power on this motor here. So it is a fast bike, or it can go pretty fast. It does come sent to you as a class 2 if you do decide to get one of these. But more importantly, I just want to say that Snapcycle is one of my favorite brands out there. They sent me a bike a while back called the R1. You'll see it in this video because it's still being ridden today. Almost every week it comes with us as one of our camera bikes to go ahead and film our reviews, and it has over 450 miles, solid running bike. But most of all, I just had such great experiences with actually running into even customers who have bought the Snapcycle after seeing my first review and saying how happy they are with it. So when I got a chance to do this Eagle, I was just so excited because I knew it was going to be a solid bike again, and I was not disappointed. It has so many cool features on it. I really think that this is a great bike for the adventurer out there. It's a smooth ride because of the full suspension on it, and it's a really decent price. So for everything that you get on it, it's quality parts. I think, let me go ahead and have the video speak for itself. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the review. Okay, so what you're going to see here is the Snapcycle Eagle is 95% ready to go, almost out of the box. All you have to do is take it out, and you can pretty much just assemble the handlebars and just kind of check over the bike, and you'll be almost ready to go. Now what you're going to notice here in the video is that I decided I wanted to put in flat out tire sealant into both the front and rear tires of this bike. Now I do that for every single one of my bikes because we have so many thorns here. I just don't want to get any flats. But that's an optional thing that you don't have to do. The other thing is Snapcycle comes with a fantastic video online on how to unbox and assemble the bike totally until you're ready to go. It's very easy to do, one of the easiest bikes. Here you see me testing the motor, and after that I just added the optional fenders. Now it does come with the fenders, but you don't have to put them on. I decided I wanted them on, and once I was done with that, I was pretty much ready to go. Okay, in this segment, we're going to be walking up to the Snapcycle Eagle to go over all the specs and everything that it has on this amazing dual suspension bike. So we're first looking at the rear of the bike, and I want to point out that first and foremost, we have hydraulic brakes on this. And once you have hydraulic brakes, honestly, it's a big game changer as far as the comfort or the safety that you get from these hydraulic brakes, because they're so soft and they stop you so well with just the softest touch. So it's really, really nice to have something like this on the backside. 160mm rotors also complement that in the back here. And as I spin the wheel here, that's to get to the part in the back that actually shows that we have a 750 watt motor, as you can see there, and that's a 750 watt nominal because it has over 1,000 watts, like 1,050 peak power. Moving up a little more on the bike here on the back side here, we also have your rear shock. So this is a rear suspension, making it a full suspension bike. And moving up a little higher on top of that, we also have this really wide saddle. So all of this combined makes it for a very comfortable ride. The fat tires absorbing a lot of the shock there, then your shock absorber in the back, and then of course your seat also absorbing that too. Going down toward the bottom of the bike here, we have our folding pedals, and this is just one of many things that will fold on this bike that you'll see a little later. We also have our key that's stuck under here. Typical of this style of bike, the key does stay locked in when the bike is on. We also have a port here to allow you to charge the battery while it's in the bike itself. You can also remove the battery and charge it outside like I typically do. And going toward the front of the bike here, another feature we have is a quick release front wheel. So even though you can fold it down quite a bit on this bike, if you need to make it even smaller, you can remove the front wheel there. And we have another 160 millimeter rotor in the front with the hydraulic calipers as well. Now this has an interesting hydraulic brake. The other thing about this is that it actually has auto caliper centering, so prevents a lot of brake rub. And that's one thing I really like about Snapcycle bikes is they have really good brakes. Even on the R1 that was mechanical, it felt like hydraulic brakes. Now in the back here we have a reflector. So this bike does not come with a integrated rear light. You could always add your own, but it doesn't come one integrated. I'm not sure exactly why they decided not to do that. Maybe to keep a little more of the cost down, to keep this a more competitive bike. But because the other parts on this bike are really high quality. So to make sure that you're staying within the $16.99 range that they want to, that's one of the reasons they may have done that. Talking about high quality parts here, we also have a front fork with suspension. And this here on the right, the blue switch here, we have our lockouts. Your preload adjustments are also on the other side of this fork here. And this has a cool 80 millimeters worth of travel on the front suspension. It helps to really make this ride a lot more comfortable. And as we look in the center of this bike here, we also have a 53 tooth chainring, 107 millimeter crankset, and then again a folding pedal on the other side of the bike so that you can really collapse this bike quite a bit down. If you need to remove the seat, we have a quick release seat lever here as well. This bike also comes with front and rear fenders. Even though in the pictures on the website it doesn't show the fenders, probably for more of a sporty look. Just know that it does come with it as part of the assembly that you need to add the fenders on that's included in the box. Now, on the back here, we have a 7-speed freewheel cassette, and it's a 14 to 28 tooth with Shimano derailleur. Just good quality parts. The Shimano derailleur in the back is not the high end, but it is a very, very adequate derailleur. Now, in the front neck here, what I'm showing you is that we do have a folding neck, and it has a really interesting clasp that does the folding. So as you see, as I'm moving it up and down, the front has this silverish piece. That's the locking mechanism that goes in and kind of like has its teeth grab in there. So when you put it all the way down, it sticks out. Now it releases it so you can bend over the neck to collapse it all the way down, making it quite thin. This is one of the reasons I really like foldable bikes, is that when the neck does come down, it also makes the handlebars not as wide. If you need to store this bike somewhere, it's not sticking out on the side here. So again, putting that back up there, really nice and tight, and then you have your safety lock to make sure the latch doesn't come down, which probably never would come down anyway, but that's a good extra added feature. Talking about a safety latch, so under here on our folding bike, you see a locking pin that is able to go all the way in. This is the lock pin for the battery itself. And as you see, the key can be removed when it's in the off position. And also when you have it in the release position, the key can come out as well. So when the bike is in the on position, though, the key does stay locked into the bike and will not fall out. Now here's the folding latch in the middle of the bike to fold the bike in half. And I will have a demonstration showing that a little later in this part of the video. But it just basically is easy to open by pushing forward, pulling it open, it unlatch. And then the bike is able to be folded in half at this folding point right here. Then, of course, you also want to make sure before you fold your bike that you remove the key. Just make sure that you have that and that your latch is secured. Now let's move up, taking a look at the cockpit. Very simple display. And there's something good and bad about simple displays. First of all, it cuts the cost down because a lot of times you won't be riding around looking at your display. That's one thing to keep in mind. You don't really need other than the odometer, your speed, and your trip meter, and then also your PAS levels. So as you see, I'm going up in the PAS levels now with only 2 buttons. The only thing about that is the buttons are multifunctional. So when you double click on the up button, then you'll see the headlight turn on. That's how you activate it. Or you double click it again and it goes down. Now when you're going down, you go one at a time. Now if you double click on the down button, you'll see that it switches between your trip and your odometer reading. So the bad thing about something like this is that if you try to move up really quickly through the PS levels, you will be hitting the light instead of going up through your different levels, which is not a big deal. You just gotta kind of slow down when you're going up and down on each of your levels there. Now, the cool thing also about this Snapcycle, which I'm really glad they put on, is the ability to turn off the throttle. So to make this a class 1 bike, you can actually turn off your throttle, and technically, without a throttle active, it is a class 1. So as you can see here, I put it to PS level 0, I hit the throttle, and nothing happens. Even whether the switch is on or off, it does make it so that the bike won't move at PS level 0. Now I'll put it to 1, and right now the throttle switch is off, but when I turn it on, you'll hear the motor going, and you can see that it starts to spin. Now, I did find, because I'm not used to having a button there to do this type of activity of turning on and off my throttle, that I accidentally would hit that quite often and shut off my throttle. So just know that that is a possibility, that it does have the ability to turn off your throttle. Then you have the ability to ride this pretty much anywhere. It becomes totally legal, as long as you also keep the setting of high speed below the 20 mile an hour in the class 2 or class 1 setting. Moving up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 level, and then you turn on your throttle, then you have a full throttle all the way up to the 20 miles an hour. And you can see it going up there. Now we have it all the way up to 20. And of course, if you are rotating the pedals, it'll go up to a higher speed, up to a class 3 if you have it set properly. And here's our SIS shift, really easy to move up and down between the gears. And the other thing we have here is also a quick release on the handlebars to make a quick adjustment if you want to. So you can just flip that up and you'll be able to adjust your handlebars, rotate it more towards you or a little away from you if you want to. Now, most of the time, most people will never actually rotate this very much, but I guess if you have different rider heights of people different riding the bike, they may actually decide that they want the handlebars rotated toward them or away from them. What you're seeing here on the cockpit, we also have our accessories that do not come with the bike, but I added on myself. You can find these accessories on the eBike Products website, which is the cell phone holder and the water bottle bag holder. Because there is no bottle cage bosses, so this is a great way to hold a water bottle on a bike like this. It works perfectly. And let's take a closer look at our hydraulic brake lever here. I've never heard of this brand, but it works really good. It's really soft. You can even grab the brakes with probably 2 fingers. Here's a closer look at the hydraulic brakes, and you can see that it's just super easy to grab. Even 1 finger will stop the bike. And you also have your cutoffs here. So this is a safety. As soon as you grab the brakes, either lever will cut the power to the motor, so you don't ever have to be fighting against the motor to stop the bike. So in this segment here, I'm going to show you how the folding is done on the Snapcycle. The way that I will fold the bike is not the same as everybody else. So I'm positioning the bike where you can see I open the latch, and what I would then do is make sure you remove the key. You always want to remove the key before you fold the bike. It's just in case the cable snags it or it hits it there. So I have the battery in the locked position and off. And then what I typically do is, I'm going to turn this around here. I will actually put up the kickstand, but I will stand on the opposite side to fold the bike, because I grab the bike by the neck. And with that, it's an easy way to lift and rotate without too much trouble there. And as you can see, the Snapcycle has this yellow stand to prevent you from hitting it all the way down. Then what I do is now put the key in to release the battery so that it comes out. And with the battery coming out here, now we can take a look at the specs on the battery. We have a 48 volt 15 amp hour battery, and they use Samsung cells. I want to repeat that. They use Samsung cells, which is some of the highest quality cells on the market right now, and these are really good long lasting cells that we have here. Here's what the lock looks like on the underside of the battery, and I just put a little label there because I don't want to get mixed up with other batteries that I have for other bikes. So sticking the battery back in, making sure that the key part is on the bottom. And oh, actually, before we do that, I do want to show you how the bike looks when you have the bike or the handlebars completely folded down, what the bike starts to look like when you're ready to either put it in storage or perhaps put it in your car. Now I usually keep those styrofoam pieces that come with the bike when you get it unwrapped, and I will stick that between the back and the front tire in the fold area so that none of the metal is touching each other. But this is actually how thin the bike can be. It's really thin, especially with the pedals folded in. You can stick it in a lot of different trunks. It should fit in most larger or sedan style mid-size cars in the trunk. Of course, any SUV this will fit in quite easily. Without the battery, it is a lot lighter. I think it's around 60 pounds or so. So you do probably need somebody to help you, depending on how strong you are, to get this into a car. But needless to say, it can fit in a car, or definitely an SUV or the back of a truck. And but also for storage, if you want to fold it up, you can even probably shove it in a closet. So that's really good. So let's go ahead and put back the battery now into the bike. Again, making sure the keyhole is at the bottom. That's how you know you're putting it in the right way. Sliding it in. Once it's in, you want to lock it in place and remove the key. So make sure that the pin pops out. Once it's in, holds it there, and we're going to reverse the process now. Put up the handlebars first so that you have the neck to grab when you're going to unfold it. And moving it out just to get it up, and that bike pretty much will, that's another thing. If you notice, I'm grabbing the back brake. By doing that, sometimes it actually just helps you to add leverage to the bike to be able to lift it up. And then once that's put together, you can just latch the center latch together. It automatically locks in there, and just make sure that you have all of the safety latches put together that you need to. And that's what it looks like, folded and unfolded. It's a pretty easy process. Like, oh yeah, don't forget to do your pedals as well, and you're off and ready to go. Again, this is the Snapcycle Eagle. It is made for riders between 5'3" and 6'4" with a standover height of only 25.6 inches, which is really a nice height size for many riders, and very versatile, being that it can ride up to someone 6'4". This bike also comes with a horn on the left-hand side here. Once the bike is on, you can see also the settings. We'll go over the display right now at this point. And basically, all you need to do is hold down the up and down buttons together, and that will put you into the display settings. The instruction manual has very clear instructions on what each of these settings do. And as we scroll through it, you can also see that it has this place where the top speed can be adjusted. It does come set at 20 miles per hour when you get it. And as you move up, you can go up to as high as 28 miles an hour. Now, that's the top speed that this bike is allowed you to put to. And then when you're ready to set it, you hold the up and down buttons together again, and that will take you out of the menu. Now, even though it says you can go up to 28 miles an hour on the display, I found that we were able to get a solid 24 to 25. You have 5 different levels in the battery showing on the display here, and that's pretty much the whole display setting of the bike. This is the Snapcycle Eagle, and it's one of the bikes that we think is really one of the most amazing companies out there, or one of the better companies that we've come across with the bikes. We really love the Snapcycle brand and what they build out there. We have the R1 that you see riding around with my buddy John, who's also one of our camera guys. He's in these shots specifically because that is the other Snapcycle bike that is still running, has over 450 miles at this point in time, and it is just an amazing bike. We were super excited when Snapcycle reached out to us to see if we wanted to review the Eagle. It comes in 5 different colors to choose from. You have a black model, the light brown model, olive green model, pink, and white. And these are two-tone. Each and every single one of them has a really nice design of multicolors that come together. Very classy looking bikes. I love the white the most. I mean, that was one I asked for. It's just something about the white and black and the way that it looks is just amazing. So this is, again, the Snapcycle Eagle. Thank you so much for watching this review. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you can see this bike and check it out at ebikeproducts.com/eagle. That will take you to the Snapcycle website, and that is an affiliate link. If you do happen to make a purchase there, that does give credit back to this site, and we really appreciate your support. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.